Hello, eRank. Welcome to another live Q&A with me, Pam Duffy, and her, Starla Moore. That was pretty slick today. I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw it on your end, but towards the end, the eRank live screen just started flashing all
Oh,
over the place. It's doing it
oh
on
dear.
YouTube now too. Sorry guys, seizure warning. I guess it's
Oh,
too late.
yeah. Don't know what happened there.
Yeah, it looked really weird. We got like a cool strobe effect. It just builds the suspense.
Yeah, totally planned. And yeah, sorry guys, if for those of you who it's an hour later than you expected, I live in a different part of the world and I didn't know. So it's still winter here. I didn't know you did spring.
Yeah, right. Daylight savings time, it always messes everything up. That's okay. We are here. We've got a couple questions in the early bird post. So I actually did have somebody message me and ask if there was any way to submit a question early because they can never make it to our stream. So hopefully she was able to find the post. But guys, if that's you, if you're watching the replay and you're like, darn, I missed another one. Over in the eRank group, every Wednesday, you can find a post pinned to the top of the group wall in the little announcement section where you can submit your question a day early. That way you can watch the replay and still get your question answered. And it looks like we've got 5 today. And then after that, we will get into questions from the chat, whether you're over on YouTube, I see a couple of you over there, or if you're on Facebook. Feel free to go ahead and get those questions in now. Yeah, did we have any announcements before we get started?
Yeah, I totally forgot to ask about about that. I don't think there's anything huge that's happened this week, but yeah, I think we're good. It's been a quiet week, hopefully.
Yeah, we have had a slight bug today with data refreshing, but Team's already fixing it, so it should be fixed very, very soon. If for any reason your refresh data button isn't refreshing your data, I'm sure that our team is probably by now they've probably already fixed it. But yeah, just be patient with our team, and they will get that fixed very, very quickly if they haven't already. I'm good if you are to dive into questions, though.
Let's get started then. Yay.
All right. You guys will have to excuse me. My husband has COVID and I might have COVID. So thank God we're in our little boxes, of separation where I can't get
You
Pam
can't
sick.
send the onus over here.
All right. Let's see. So from our Wednesday post, Lanice asked, has Etsy changed the timing when manual listings are set to expire? When my listings expire, I usually have 2 days or so to renew it. Now my listings aren't marked expired up to 10 days or longer. Not complaining, just curious as to why. I set my listings to manual so I can review the SEO before renewing, since the listing most likely hasn't sold in 4 months. I don't think so.
Sometimes it just seems slow. I've I've never paid attention, to be honest, but I have seen people over the past year or two. Sometimes people will say, what gives, my listing should have expired a few days ago, but I've not heard anything from Etsy. I think it's just how their system's working just now.
Yeah. All right. Isabella asked, I offer free shipping within the UK and add the shipping price to the total cost of my product. That means that I pay fees on it. Would I get more money per order if I pass that cost to the customer? I believe that your fees apply regardless of where.
Yep, it's the total price of the item plus the shipping fee, so it doesn't matter which way. But we should all be calculating our fees into our price as well, because that's part of our expenses, regardless of where the price is. So, yeah, absolutely roll in the cost of the fees, but it will be exactly the same whether you have £10 and £5 shipping or £15 and free shipping. It
Yeah.
should be the same.
All right. Let's see. Lots of easy questions on the Wednesday post, and that's good because I see YouTube right now are asking lots of questions. So we'll be
Yeah,
getting to you guys.
YouTube's buzzing. That's great.
Awesome. I think it's Daleen. What is the best advice you would offer to a digital product seller on Etsy to enhance their sales? It doesn't matter if you sell digital. It doesn't matter if you sell physical. The advice is always the same. And general questions are really hard to answer because there's so many things. SEO, good photos, marketing, internal and external marketing, whether you're perfecting your Etsy ads, whether you're promoting on social media. My biggest piece of advice is to not focus on trying to find answers to broad questions. I made a huge post about this yesterday on my Facebook page. Think about less about a broad answer or a broad question and more about the tiny little components that make up Etsy success. All these little things that you hear people talking about: marketing, SEO, photography, um, analyzing your actual stats and trying to figure out where your traffic is coming from. These are all things that take a lot of time, and unfortunately a lot of people, they don't want to put that time into it. So you see a lot of videos that pander to the people who want answers now. How I made $100,000 on Etsy yesterday, and those videos and that type of advice, it's usually stuff that isn't really helpful. How many of you guys have watched a video on how to make $100,000 on Etsy tomorrow, and you watch that video and you didn't, make $100,000 after watching it? It's unfortunately there's a lot to learn, but the quicker you start diving into those individual topics, the quicker you can actually start mastering them.
Absolutely. It's a good thing to all these individual things that Starla mentioned there. Pick one, get good at it, and then go on to the next one. I don't think it's bad for anyone to not focus on their photography. Go in, do a little bit, improve your photography. When you feel that's a little bit better, then look at the next thing, maybe learn about stats a bit. And it is, as Starla says, it's so much easier if you come to the group or you look for tutorials or anything on a specific subject. The how do I get more sales, or how do I get more sales as a digital seller or whatever, they're just way too broad questions. Nobody can really answer that apart from the people who pretend, yeah, here's the secret to get sales quick. There's no secret to get sales quick. Make stuff, keep doing better, and keep moving forwards. Keep looking at your results. Sadly,
Yeah.
the only digital specific thing, well, it's not specific, but the only thing that I see digital sellers make a mistake with is not niching.
Mhm.
Like, digital isn't a niche, so really think of what your niche is, because if you try and cater to absolutely everybody, then you sort of hit nobody. But yeah, if you have some kind of niche, that's better.
Yeah. And I pulled it up just because I was trying to, I've got sick brain right now, and I was trying to remember how exactly I worded it. But this is a really great lesson, and I think I'm going to start preaching it more often, because I think that, Pam, you can agree that the most common questions we get are like, "How do I be successful? How do I make more sales? How do I make money?" And I posted on my own page yesterday. I said, these are questions that I literally cannot answer quickly as someone who dedicates their life to producing content on these subjects. You have to be willing to do the work. And that means spending time learning and enjoying the process of learning. I cannot bottle success for you in a way that only requires you to take one sip. What I can offer are a diverse number of business topics in multiple forms. What I teach isn't a bottled beverage to sip, it's an ocean. And if you want to truly learn deeply, you must be willing to put on your scuba gear and dive in. So definitely start
Absolutely.
picking through those individual topics and start chipping away at them. And I know you said digital and we talked about photography. That doesn't mean like getting your camera out and taking pictures of your screen. Make your mock-ups more compelling and experiment with that. And that, photos might not be your problem. So just keep working at it and keep learning, and never assume that you're done. Because anytime I hear a seller say, "Oh, I've done everything," I'm like, "No, you haven't," because no one
Exactly.
has. There's always ways to grow.
Exactly. And that's another thing, like a common question we both get and we see in the groups and everything all the time as well is, here's my shop. What am I doing wrong with the SEO? Really difficult. People can give a kind of sweeping answer to that, but that is, again, we don't know what's going wrong. You have all the data in your shop. You know what you're doing, so yeah, it is chipping away at a little bit at a time, rather than going, yeah, in 4 seconds fix my entire shop. It's like,
Yeah.
no. Are you getting views? Where are your views coming from? What listings are doing best? You know all of this better than us.
Yeah. All right. And then Robin's got a two-part question. First one, what is the best way to split up long tail keywords and tags? Example, Mother's Day gift daughter. Would it not be a good idea to do day gift daughter? I wasn't sure if it would be good to match for 3 or 4 words, or if this isn't a real phrase and it wouldn't make sense to use. So for tags, sometimes you just got to split them up in the way that they make the most sense. And sometimes I usually get like 8 tags left over that I have to just start tossing things in. And I will put in something like mother daughter. I'll have a tag that says gifts for, and then I'll try to broad match, by doing a tag mother daughter, grandma, aunt, dad, grandpa, because you'll still broad match for them, even if they're all mixed up, but try to break them up in the way that makes the most sense. That way you can get some exact matches. I doubt anybody is searching for day gift daughter. But maybe you could do gift for daughter and then do Mother's Day as its own tag. That way, at least those tags kind of make sense and you have a better chance to exact match for those. But either way, you'll still broad match for them, even if they are jumbled up. It's just those exact matches are going to be a little stronger.
Exactly. Sometimes you can find tags within that phrase, and well, keywords within that phrase, which is a cool thing to do. And I will say, even Etsy tells us we don't have to worry. Like in that case, if your main keyword's Mother's Day gift daughter, but you're also hoping, if you do well, to hit for Mother's Day gift, because that's a huge keyword. You could have a tag that says Mother's Day gift and gift for daughter, like doubling up the word gift if it's a really cool keyword is not a bad thing. I know a lot of people fear it. It's like using gift twice isn't necessary for Etsy to understand what it is, but it just gives a little bit more strength to that Mother's Day gift keyword. But they don't have to make sense. And yeah, if you look at both mine and Starla's, the end of our listing, that can be some word spaghetti there, because we're just throwing whatever we want.
Well, with tags, it's like, if it was in your title, it's right in their face and they see it. But tags, nobody's going and sifting through my tags unless it's a competitor who's trying to figure out what I'm doing. So yeah, don't worry about your tags, towards the end when you run out of good ideas, making a bunch of
Yeah.
jumbles. And then her second part was, part of my title reads funny Mother's Day card funny. Should I shorten it and make it funny Mother's Day card funny, or keep it the way I originally had it? You don't need to repeat the word funny. That sounds like word spaghetti, as Pam put it. I would just say funny Mother's Day card, not funny Mother's Day card funny.
Yeah, funny Mother's Day card makes most sense. Dig into the keyword tool and see which way round looks better. I'm assuming funny Mother's Day card is the best for what people are searching for. But if you saw it the other way around, then you could write it the other way around, or have more than one listing where one of them is funny Mother's Day card and the other one is Mother's Day card funny, if you found they were both keywords. But yeah, when you're, especially, obviously these are cards, so I think you can make more than one of something. So if you're aiming for a couple of keywords, split up those keywords that are very similar across different listings. So because that looks very weird to my eye to see the same thing sort of just with the words shuffled slightly.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for the Facebook early bird question. So thank you to the 5 of you who submitted early. Now we're going to hop over to YouTube. Hopefully you all are still here hanging out. So let's see. Someone had asked, Starla, should I start with my newsletter and newsletter discount when I open my Etsy store, or should I wait for my store to grow? It is better to start now, because the worst case scenario is nobody joins. The best case scenario is that you start generating momentum right away. There is no reason to wait gathering newsletter subscribers. That is the first thing that I think any business should do. And I believe in Handmade Alpha Academy. I don't think you're a student, are you? I think in Handmade Alpha Academy, that's like one of the very first things that we cover, just because even if somebody isn't ready to buy now, maybe they sign up for your email list so that they get an email when you create a new product, or maybe they want to wait until there's a sale. I definitely recommend starting an email list as quickly as possible. In fact, I personally recommend starting an email list if you have the means to do it, especially if like you're running your own website. I will often start an email list for a project before the project has even launched. That way I can have it full of people who are already interested, who are ready to buy when I launch the new thing. We did that with the Alpha Adapt shop, which was, a shop that sells merch for my YouTube channel. And we said, hey, we're going to be making a merch store. You guys don't get to see anything that we're working on. You don't get to see any of the cool products that we're going to be adding, but you can kind of get your foot in the door, get a little bit of early access, get an early access discount if you join the email list, and we'll email you when we have news, or when we have a launch date. So as soon as possible is, yeah.
Yeah, your teases for your launch was great. But
Yes.
I I think I've been collecting people from my email list for about 2 years, and I've not made a post yet. I've not sent an email yet.
Mhm.
So yeah, I not probably, I should have by now, but I haven't. But yeah, just have that link out there straight away. It's not gonna cost you anything if you're using something like Mailchimp. It's probably take a while. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Free up to 500 subscribers. All right. Somebody had asked if we offer one-on-one listing. I'm assuming analyzation meetings. No, but we've got a tool for that over at erank.com in the listing audit.
Yep. Sadly, none of us have time for one-on-one just now. It's yeah, we're all rushed off our feet just now. But this we have the tool, the listing audit, and we also have the Facebook group. There's a link in the comments in the description of this video. If you join the Facebook group, you can ask, as Starla said earlier, it's better if you ask specific questions, but we have over 25,000 members over there now. So there's always someone there to help.
Absolutely. All right. Mary had asked, how is visibility score determined on listings? And visibility score is the explanation that I always like beef up when I try to explain it. So do you want to
Yeah,
tackle this one? Because you're better at doing this one than I am.
I don't know if I'm better. We actually have a video on this YouTube channel, but it's quite old. But visibility is just, see if I get this one right. It's your average daily views for your listing compared to other daily views. So basically, if you have a 50% visibility score, that says for the historic life of that item, it's getting about average daily views. It's getting about the same number of daily views as the average listings on Etsy. If you have a visibility of 90%, that's saying your average daily views are better than 90% of listings on Etsy. So this is a thing, I know people look at that and they think visibility means how visible my listing is going to be. Like, I've made changes to my SEO and my visibility hasn't changed. It's not something that's telling you how good your listing is, because we kind of can't predict that, because it's based on so many factors that are mainly how people interact. It's just telling you what your average daily views was. So if you make a change, it's going to take time to change. What I use it for, what we recommend that you use it for, is just to see which of your listings are standing out. Keep in mind, if you've made changes to a listing, and then don't be comparing that to anything else just now, because it's going to take time to change. But when I'm scrolling through my listings, I'll look at the ones that are in the 90s. I'll say, that's cool, don't need to touch that. That one's doing spectacularly well. If there's any that are significantly lower than the rest of my listings, then they're the ones that I'll go, right, I need to work on that. And because it's average daily views across the whole time, it just makes it easier to see how's this comparing, like old listings to new listings and everything. So it just normalizes stuff out.
Yeah. And there was, I know that there was somebody who was basically, they were selling a course where they were telling people to get their visibility scores to like 100%. And that's just not something that is realistic. And since it's based on, you know, the all time, like as long as your listing has existed, increasing that score isn't something that's going to happen overnight. Like it's going to take time. So just be wary of people who, anybody that you see online, because I've seen it a couple times where people say, "Oh, your visibility score should be 100%." That's just not how it works. So just be cautious. I would consider Pam and I and the eRank team to be the horse's mouth, since it's our tool. And speaking of which, I'm actually going to shoot down towards the bottom, which I don't normally do, but asymmetrical mirror shop said, when are you planning to show accurate data from sellers globally in terms of keyword competition? And I think that this would be a really good time to kind of mention what eRank is and what it is not. eRank is not a tool that gets a bunch of keyword data direct from Etsy, and no tool does. No tool in the world is working directly with Etsy. Now, we do have some tools that rely on Etsy's API that is direct from Etsy. We communicate directly with Etsy. We recently had a meeting with Etsy to make sure that they're happy with everything that we're doing, and we are always trying to buddy up with Etsy. We are an approved Etsy integration, which means when you go to your Etsy, your dashboard, and you look at the integrations that Etsy kind of recommends sellers use, we're one of those. But our keyword data, we have to purchase that from third-party sources. And I know that there was a big discussion in the group about it a few days ago. Now, the cool thing about eRank is because we are the largest Etsy SEO company right now, and we have more traffic than any other Etsy SEO services, that means that we're able to buy our data in quantities that are like brand new house expensive. It means that we have a lot more data than probably some of our competitors do. And that data is more accurate the more quantity of it that you have. Data is never wrong when it is real. It just becomes more accurate the more data that you have. So what we have is a lot of data, but it's not direct from Etsy, and it's not all Etsy, customers in the world. We aren't able to see exactly how many people in the entire world are searching on Etsy, but we have data panels of millions of people, which is enough to give us an accurate enough assessment to be able to determine which keywords are going to be popular in search, and which keywords are generating a lot of buzz on Etsy. Every once in a while, there will be a weird niche that'll pop up, and nobody in the millions of people within our data panel is, maybe it just hasn't caught on enough that all of those people are searching for it. But it's very, very rare that happens. It has to be something really weird and obscure.
Yeah, it's as accurate as it can be. And I just want to sort of explain the kind of history of this. When you're hearing and you're going, oh, it's just coming from panels of people. This kind of data gathering is industry standard, to the extent when people are saying, oh, this TV show got the most views on Amazon and this one got the most views on Netflix. It's not Netflix and Amazon telling people how many people were watching. It's this kind of data. When people get numbers for radio shows or TV shows, that this is how this data happens. So yeah, this is absolutely industry standard. But yeah, that's that's it, and that's the data we get. It is Anthony is really good at this and has checked a load of companies to get the ones that are most statistically accurate that we can possibly get.
Yeah. And then Stephen had said, where do you get your data from if you aren't getting it from Etsy? Companies that supply data. That is a huge market. Anytime that you've opted in for, the cookies button that you get on most websites, if you use a service like Honey, the coupon, service that applies coupons to your purchases, if you use a smartphone, if you've, ever opted to a security agreement for most mobile devices, TVs, yada, yada, a lot of times that's what you're opting in for. And one thing that I really, really love about Anthony and respect about eRank is that he makes sure that the data that we get is ethically sourced from people who have opted to have their data, utilized in this way. So I hope that answers your question, though Asymmetrical Mirror Shop said, thank you for the explanation, but I'm asking from a supply perspective. But I'm not exactly sure at that point what you're asking then. So I think that maybe we'll retouch on that in a minute, unless Pam, you understand the question.
Yeah, no, if you could give us some more details there, and we'll circle back to that one.
Yeah, because I'm not quite sure what your question is now. But we'll come back. Misfit Marketing Design said, eRank shows me that a few listings did not have tags. I double checked that they all did. The tags were listed when I added the product, so it wasn't like I had just added the tags. That could be a bug. So you could reach out to our team at support@erank.com, or in the bottom right corner of your eRank screen, you have a nice little chat feature. Or you might not have pressed your refresh data button. Now, it was bugging up today. If this is something that happened today, like you listed a product today, we were having a little bit of issue fetching data, but the team is working on it. If it's not fixed already, it might totally be fixed by now. But make sure that you are always, when you make changes, hitting that orange refresh data button. And if it's still not working, just shoot the team a message, because it could just be a bug.
Yeah. The one thing, I'm sure this isn't you, but I've seen it quite a lot, oddly, with people. I can see how it's done. People think they've put in tags, but they've actually filled in the material section. Oddly enough, this happens quite a lot. And I've dug into their listings and everything, and they're like, we totally did put tags. And you're like, actually, no, you got it in the wrong spot. It's super easy to do. So just double check you've actually put it in the tag section. Or if you have, that's just for everyone else as well. It totally happens. But as Starla says, we have had a refresh data issue just today. So if it's, hopefully take a cup of coffee, give the team an hour or so to fix it, and check again.
Yeah, our development team, I don't know when they sleep, to be perfectly honest. Poor Randy, he's like
I
head
don't think he
honcho.
ever sleeps. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, yeah, he is so on it, and he's like, we never get to really, nobody gets to know anything about him yet, because he works behind the scenes. He's not like a public face that people get to see, but he is truly one of the hardest and awesome workers that I've ever seen. So,
Yep.
all right, let's see. Jane had asked, do buyers need to wait to review their items? A customer was unable to place their review. Yes, it has to be after the expected delivery date on Etsy's end. So sometimes if the package arrives a little bit early, there will be a gap in between when the expected delivery date was, which is, I mean, it's a good thing if your packages arrive early, but the customer will have to wait until it hits the expected delivery date, which I think is kind of dumb. I really wish that Etsy would allow them to review it as soon as like the tracking says that it's been delivered. But
Yeah, they used to. It's very annoying that it shifted, and it's worse for everyone in the UK over Christmas that had our shipping so slowed down. When your parcel arrives after the expected shipping date, and Etsy keeps bugging your customer for leaving a review, it's really it's not good. But yeah, and don't worry, Etsy will tell your customer when they can leave a review. They will remind them plenty, unfortunately.
all right, let me see. Um, is it L or Ellie? I sell POD and was wondering if there's a way to automate your awesome swipe files through Etsy or Printify, or can I get notifications for shipping, etc. Confused on how to use them in my situation. So I would recommend, as long as you've got everything synced up correctly, you should be able to go into eRank and actually go into the delivery status report tool. It's way easier than going and clicking all the individual tracking numbers to see when products have been delivered. I know what a pain in the butt that is. Delivery status report is just going to give you one page that says like delivered, delivered, delivered. That way you don't have to go click individual tracking numbers, so you know when you can send your confirmation swipes and things. It'll also say like when things are in transit, or if there's an expected delay. That's also really good to know during the holiday season. You can just go into that page, take a glance, see if something's been delayed. And then you can also send customers messages and say, hey, I was just looking at your tracking and I see your package was delayed. I just wanted to let you know that it might take a little longer. Delays are normal this time of year. Thank you for your patience. I will send you a message again if I see any updates. It's just good practice for communication, whether you're using the swipe files or not.
Yep. Sadly, there's no way to totally automate these things, but our tools can show you at least when you need to go in. And with Starla's great swipe files, and with anyone else's, anything else, any other advice, just look at what's relevant for your business, which files are important for you to be able to send and stuff. And definitely add them to your, what do they call it, snippets on Etsy. So you look on eRank, you say, all right, I've got to message that customer. That's the message. There we go. So it's like 3 clicks or something. Not too bad.
All right, let's see. Jane asked, is your visibility higher if you have over 100 listings?
Nope.
I'm assuming you still mean like visibility score, since that's what we were talking about previously. It doesn't have any impact on how many, depending on, because your visibility score is for that listing. It doesn't matter if there's more listings. They're not communicating with each other in that way to increase your visibility score.
Yeah, visibility on eRank is for that specific listing. If you mean on Etsy total, because we hear this all the time, do you need to have 100 listings? No. There are shops on Etsy that have less than 10 listings that are top sellers. So yeah. If anyone ever tells you you need 100 listings, they're completely wrong. Experimenting with different listings can help you, but you don't need them.
Awesome. All right. Amy asked, I've done a lot of reading and watching videos on setting titles and tags on Etsy. Head very confused. Can you make suggestions for a non-digital product, and can you give an example? Again, it's really hard to give examples in this way because everybody has to do their SEO a little bit differently. I will say that we have a ton of really, really great blog posts. We've got videos on our YouTube channel. I've got videos on my YouTube channel. Pam has videos on her YouTube channel. I'm trying to think.
I just did on this YouTube channel, there is a little series of videos on finding keywords, and I did give an example on writing a title based on the keywords that we'd found for an imaginary product.
Do you remember what that video was called? And I can link it for her.
It's like one of
How
the
to write
most
Etsy titles. Right? Is that
yes,
it?
I forgot. Yes, that's it.
Okay.
Yes, I totally forgot that I'm not doing clickbaity titles on this channel, so it actually says what it does. Yes.
There you go. I put it in the chat.
Cool. Cool. But yeah, as Starla says, it's really difficult to give examples, and there's no right or wrong either. If you look, you'll see you'll see listings on Etsy that are doing well that have all sorts of titles.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right. Let's see. I believe it's Kirsten. Does it matter if a keyword has great search demand for the US but doesn't have many searches in the UK? My product is digital, so it sells everywhere. I saw a post in the HAA Facebook group, but I wasn't sure if the avoid less than 1,000 rule would apply here. And keep in mind that when I'm teaching, what people want is an exact number. They want it, and there aren't any exact numbers. There aren't any exact guidelines to follow. And I believe that I teach in Handmade Alpha Academy that when you are trying to find your superstar keyword, in HAA, we call it the common denominator, but basically the keyword that you most want to be known for, if the thing that you want to be known for has less than 1,000 searches, and that's what you're putting your whole shop, your whole shop has to rely on selling this type of item, and less than 1,000 people are searching for it, you are going to have a more difficult time. But it's very unlikely that you're going to find any products that are just like skyrocket searches in the UK and the US, but they also have super duper low competition and amazing clicks and click through rate. It's really hard to find a sweet spot that is that good in all countries. So I would just go ahead, and if you're finding a good keyword and the US volumes are great, but UK isn't great, I would still experiment with it just to see, you know?
Absolutely. And you're digital. You're selling worldwide. But I'll let you guys into a secret. You might have guessed I'm from the UK. When I'm doing keyword research, I still check the US most of the time because there's the most people there, and that means there's the most data. And as Starla said, the more data we have, the more accurate it is. So the UK data is great, and I'm so glad we've got it, but it's not where I start. That's the final thing for me to look for little extra secret keywords. But I look at the US first of all because it's just so much bigger.
Yeah. And trends, shopping trends between the US and the UK are not very different. I mean, sometimes like Mother's Day, they're in 2 different months. But for the most part, the shopping trends and things are going to be very similar.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Um, FA over on YouTube, I've noticed that sellers tend to use template or Corgi. I've never heard of that one for creating digital editable printables for wedding signs. I'm curious as to why they don't opt for Canva. I couldn't tell you.
I see loads with Canva.
Yeah, tons.
Use what you
That's
know how to use if it gives the professional look.
Yeah, yeah. I can't answer that because I'm not those sellers. I have no idea. I'm assuming that they're seeing, a gap in the marketplace for these other tools. What's the other one? Adobe Express is that the name of
Yep.
the other one
Something
that's
like that. Yep.
it's kind of
Mhm.
like Canva. But maybe they just see a gap in the market and they're trying to cater to people who use those tools instead. So maybe they're on to something. You never know. Everybody's doing Canva. Maybe they're going to make a lot more sales by using these, selling these other templates. You never know.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't know the other ones. The only reason I can think that for weddings specifically, one thing might be looked down upon, and I'm not mentioning any of them because I don't know, but something might look more professional for people who are spending a lot of money and having a fancy big day. But I don't know of those places to be able to say that it isn't. I mean, probably, I think it's changing now anyway, but you say maybe about a few years ago, if you'd have been taking like fancy, really stuff you paid a load of money to a big fancy printer through Canva or something, they might have sneered at you. But I don't think that's the case now. It's everything's good enough quality and it's all great.
I do
So
everything with Canva.
oh, same, yeah. You've got me hooked.
I love it.
I've got whiteboards and planning things. I do everything there.
All right. YouTube is on fire today, man.
Yay.
Um, I'm working on starting a t-shirt store in a quite popular niche. My designs are unique. I use amazing unknown pictures that I find in archives. Is there a way to use this fact for my SEO? I mean, you've just got to find a good word that people are also searching for. Um, you know, Maybe that word is eclectic or vintage, or you what I would do is post some pictures of your products and ask others, maybe just post a photo in the group and say, what keywords come to mind when you see this product? And sometimes people will come up with really, really cool explanations or cool keywords that you would have never thought of.
Yep. I'm thinking, right, there might be using SEO in the wrong, like thinking differently about SEO here. Is there a way to use this fact for my SEO? I'm assuming you've used like the keyword tools and everything, and you can't find people are searching for old archive pictures or whatever terms you've thought of. So that kind of means, yes, you have to find different keywords. Um, you have to find the keywords that people are looking for. It might be that as of yet, people don't know they want that kind of thing. So you can't use it in your SEO, that specific fact in your SEO. You want to use the terms that people are looking for. But what you can do is if you use this to market your item. So in your social media and stuff, you can say what's unique about your item. That's different from search engine optimization. That is like marketing. That is saying we are great because look at this amazing stuff that I find that nobody else has. But people aren't searching for that because they don't know it exists yet.
Yep. All right. Jane asked, if you slim down your niche, should you hide your other items or delete? Will this affect your shop? If you're really, really trying to focus in on a specific niche, it's fine to get rid of those items. And if they were, you know, it's you kind of have to decide, is it worth losing like a little bit of traffic for things that you're not passionate about in order to build your brand in the long run? If you delete a bunch of products that don't fit your brand or the direction that you want to go, yeah, you might see a little drop in traffic. But I feel like if you're really trying to define your brand and niche yourself into something that you're really passionate about, that it's worth it. And that traffic will come back in no time after you've really, really defined that niche, as long as it's a niche that people are interested in. If you're doing like underwater basket weaving, you might have a little bit of trouble, but assuming that you're picking a niche that you've researched, you can definitely build that traffic back.
Yeah, I was going to say, Starla, you need to do underwater basket weaving, but there's a YouTube channel. Evan and Caitlin did a live stream doing underwater basket weaving.
Hilarious.
I just remembered that odd things in the mind. But I think anyone with an established shop, we've all at some point culled some of our babies, basically. We've said, no, that I had an idea for that kind of thing. It didn't work. It didn't work for me in this shop at this minute. So I'm moving on to something else. Or actually, I had the opposite thing. I had some stuff that was doing really well, but I hated making them. So I
I've
just
done
got
that.
rid of it. Yeah. It's like, fed up of this.
Right, right.
Terrible business person, but I don't want to be known for this.
Yep. Is there an exact time during the day to share a listing? Sooner rather than later.
Yeah. If it's not listed, it can't sell.
Yep. There's no, it's not like social media where you need to post right at peak engagement times. It can take a long time for you to build up a listing quality score, 60 to 90 days. So, I mean, it's better to just get that listing out there and start gaining traction as soon as possible, because there is no like peak time to
Yeah.
post a
I would
listing.
say, right, can I ask, is anyone on the first day they list, without pushing through social media, getting thousands of views on their first day? And if you're not, then it's unlikely the time that you post matters much. I think most listings are getting a handful of views, so that time is not important. If something was such high volume that it's getting thousands of views, and you're in a niche that some things are getting thousands of views, that's when you have to worry about your timing for things.
Yeah. Somebody had asked where the delivery status report tool is. Isn't that in the shop tab?
Yes, it will be.
Yep. Second in eRank, under the shop menu, it'll be the second one directly under tag report. That's what I thought. All right. Let's see. Does the views section in the competitor listings for the last 30 days? Oh, is it for the last 30 days or total views?
Total. Yeah, the total views is total views. The daily views is daily views. And I think in competitor listing, yeah, I'm going into competitor sales, but yeah, in the competitor listings, in the listing audit, any in like the keyword tool, these are all total views in general. If you're not sure, there should be a little orange question mark beside anything. If you hover your mouse over that, that's a tooltip that tells you what's happening with the tool. There should also be help files for any page that can tell you these things too.
Yep, you'll see a little button that says help right on the page. And does everybody have the new chat feature now?
Yeah, I think everybody should. Not only does everyone have the new chat feature, but Anthony's been manning the chat as well. So if you've gone in, I shouldn't say this because now we're going to get off here and the chat's going to blow up and Anthony's going to go mad. But he's been sitting there and answering the chat live, or as live as he can, because he's a busy man too. But yes, so on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen where it was the feedback button, there's now a whole lot more. So if you haven't checked that out, check it out. When we have someone on there, there is live chat there, but there's links to help, like articles and all sorts of things in there that should hopefully help as well. And we'd love your feedback on all that, because we've been like working on that in the past few weeks, trying to get it as good as possible. Obviously there's loads more to go into it, but let us know if it's on the right track or what different things you want.
Yeah, and how many CEOs of companies sit and do customer support just to see like how features are working and how everybody's doing? Like he's a cool guy.
He is
Um,
indeed.
so we did get a reiteration on the asymmetrical mirror shop. So the initial question was, when are you planning to show accurate data from the seller or sellers globally in terms of keywords competition? When I said the supply side, I meant to ask how accurate the seller competition data is per each keyword.
Um,
Um, as
we
far as I
can't.
know, data shows number of listings per each keyword is limited based on the location of the seller.
Oh, right. The competition in the keyword tools, that number comes directly from the Etsy API. So it's
Oh no!
as accurate as Etsy is. Is
There, you're
about
back.
all I. Oh, oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know where you got. Yeah, the competition number on our tools comes directly from the Etsy API, so that's as accurate as the Etsy API is, basically.
Yeah. All right. Jane had said still issues with refreshing on eRank. Just like I said, give our team patience there. They are actively working on it at this very second. When
Yeah,
anytime something goes wrong on the site, we've always got somebody who is fixing it. And at this hour, it's probably Anthony.
true.
Honestly,
Yes.
it's probably Anthony who's sitting there on the back end trying to get it fixed right away. So just give it time, and I'm sure it'll be fixed very very soon.
Yeah.
Let's see, Amy. In the tags, some suggest using completely different words, while others suggest using repetitive words such as wool shawl, boho shawl, stylish shawl to be more successful. What do you suggest? Etsy tells us that there is no reason to repeat terms in your tags or titles. You're going to broad match either way. Now, if you, I think we mentioned this a few minutes ago, if there is a term that you really want an exact match for, like you really want an exact match for wool shawl and boho shawl, it's fine. You're not going to lose any brownie points for using a term twice, but you don't need to say wool shawl, knit shawl, boho shawl, red shawl, llama shawl. You don't need to do that. You're wasting a lot of space that you could be using for other keywords that you could, potentially be ranking for.
Yeah. I mean, I assume you have more than one shawl in your shop. So what I'd do with that is pick your superstar keywords. Pick the really important keywords, which might be wool shawl, boho shawl, and you might have more than the 2 to 4 that Etsy talks about. You might find you've got a lot of what you want to really rank for. Split them up across the listings. So then you'll go, one listing would be wool shawl, stylish shawl, and then a third tag could be like boho, mom, sister, or something, these random words that you're cramming in. Whereas the next listing would be boho shawl, some other word, and then tags that have the mix of stylish wool or something. So yeah, you can muddle them up, but you shouldn't probably be having. No, shouldn't. There's no right or wrong, but you don't really. It's not going to look great to have a listing that's aiming for 4 or 5 keywords that all finish in the same word. Boho shawl, because then that makes your title looks terrible if you do that. So it's easier to split it across a few different listings and then see which one works best.
Yeah.
And I do wonder something. I'm not an expert, but something like stylish shawl might not be as competitive, so you don't need to try and get the exact match for that. So stylish boho might be enough to get you ranking for a smaller keyword anyway.
Yeah, because broad matching is going to basically shuffle those up and play a fun little game where it doesn't matter what order everything's in. Etsy's going to still be able to read all of those words in every single combination possible. It's just exact matching is going to be a little bit stronger. So those words that you really, really want to rank for, like wool shawl, I would assume is probably the term that you really want to rank for, then try to keep those together. All
I would
right.
say actually, sorry, I just had a thought there, but if you haven't, like, we're given this advice so that you have lots more terms that you have the chance to broad match for to get the chance to rank for more things. If you're wanting to get that listing up and you just can't think of other terms, there's nothing wrong with sticking boho shawl and stylish shawl at the end of your tags or something. It's not going to hurt your listing, but you can come
Yeah.
back later and shuffle about with it. Like, as we've said a million times, like, maybe your first 4, 5, 6 tags are good, and the rest of them are just like gobbledygook. Really, it's just random, whatever you can think of.
Yep.
It don't got to be perfect.
Experiment a little bit. Everything is a test. There's no way to gauge what's going to be successful until you test it. I know that everybody wants like a black and white absolute answer. This is exactly how to do SEO successfully, but that's just not how SEO works. Everything is an experiment. I could take Anthony Wolf right now. He's our CEO, and ask him to make a listing. And he could do it to the best of his ability. But until we put it out onto Etsy and see how the algorithm, works alongside it and works with it, there's no way to predict how it will do. So, and be wary of anybody who says that they have like the magical success secret to it, because they don't.
Oh yeah, or if these, I can guarantee you'll get to rank on the first page of Etsy. Yeah, I could do too in Starla if we put our floop de whoop de woo-ha tag or
Right.
something on. But yeah, there's no guarantee that you're going to do something that's going to rank you for a keyword that's going to be any good. It's an experiment.
All right, let's see. I'm new to eRank. I love it, but it can also be overwhelming. Which sections should a newbie be focusing on? Then as you grow, what sections matter more? For a newbie, I mean, it's based on what goals you have. So when you log into eRank, you'll be taken to our task page. It says, what would you like to accomplish today? Um, I would say that keyword research is a great place to start, starting with the keyword tool, typing in some keywords based on, what you want to be known for. Start small. If you are selling a chunky knit blanket, start by searching blanket. And eRank will give you a really great list of keyword suggestions or related keywords that are, related to blankets. That will give you an idea of, some terms that you could potentially use in your listing tags and titles. Like we said previously, if you click on that little chat button that's in the bottom right hand corner of your screen, you'll have a bunch of help articles that will pop up if you need a little extra help understanding the tools. There are little orange question marks. And really a great place to start to learn is right here on this channel, because Pam has been working her butt off creating video tutorials. You are posting like one every day, haven't you? Like,
No,
no,
sadly, no.
it feels like it. It feels like
I'm
every time I
supposed to be posting a lot more than I am, but yeah, we haven't had the chance yet. But yes, we're trying to get as much in there as we can.
yeah.
And also jump into the Facebook group and ask those specific questions that we spoke about. But for the tools, pick pick one. it I suppose we can give our favorite tools. This would be a good time, as Starla just said, like the keyword tool, something like the rank checker, spotted on Etsy. Pick one of them that's relevant, or even the competition sales tool. Depends what it is you want to focus on, but keyword research is usually a good place to start. And then dive in, say, for the next month, I'm not going to get distracted by all the other eRank tools. I'm going to look at the keyword tool. I'm going to look at the help files. I'm going to play around with it. I'm going to hover over the little question marks. I'm going to check and see if there's any videos on this, and I'm going to ask in the group, and I'm going to see what happens. Um, Because yeah, it can be overwhelming because Anthony is awesome, and every time someone has an issue, he looks and sees, oh, can I create something to help them with that? But it doesn't mean that everything that's created is relevant for everybody. I don't use all the tools on eRank. Starla doesn't use all the tools on eRank. We have our favorites that help us with what we want, and they might be very different to what other people are using.
All right, we're down to the last few minutes and we have a lot of questions left. So if you're up for a speed round.
Let's speed round it.
All right. Ladies, I'm a huge fan of you and your channels. I'm new to Etsy and on eRank, and I'm trying to learn more about SEO and ranking, so I've made a really stupid mistake. I made some ads on my Etsy shop, and when the traffic stopped, I changed the tags and titles of more than 50% of my handmade earrings, and now from 600 to 1,000 views, I only have 10. Is this normal? How to change, and actually when to recognize it is time for change? I mean, in the very beginning, when actually you don't have many sales, do I need to close and open the shop again? No, don't do that.
No, well, we can totally quickly speed round that one because we just did a video in the eRank thing on, oh, you just messed up your, um,
I will grab it.
yeah, cool. But there are some tools in there that show you you can use eRank to get back to what you had before, your tags and titles that you had before. But you definitely don't need to shut your shop and open it up again. We have all made mistakes in our shop. It doesn't kill it completely. You can get back to what you had. And I don't think you can call yourself a tiny shop getting thousands, 600 to 1,000 views. That's fantastic. You were doing good. You can get it back.
Absolutely. But it is normal. That is normal. Don't change do not change the tags and titles of a bunch of your listings at once. It's a slow process. Do things slow and steady.
Yeah, I'm sure we've all done dumb things
Oh yeah.
sometimes.
All right, let's see. Asymmetrical mirror shop. I like very much the feature of spotted on Etsy. Can you explain how eRank fetches the data in order to detect the spotted listings?
Yep. Okay, two places. One, the keywords that you've given it in the monitor section, and all the other keywords we have in our database. Once per day, eRank goes to the Etsy API and checks and sees where your listings are ranking for those keywords on the Etsy API. So it's like a daily rank checker. The second place, if you've connected your Google Analytics to your Etsy shop and then connected that to your eRank account, then that data you'll see what we're seeing is where actual customers have clicked on your listing from seeing it in search.
All right. All right, I've went ahead and posted in the YouTube chat that questions are now closed because we're at the 5 o'clock mark for our US peeps. But we'll go ahead and answer the last 3 that we received. So Amy asked, I want to do a bit of a pivot. I currently sell laser-made wood blanks. I was like, wood blankets. I currently sell laser-made wood blanks, but more and more people have been asking me for finished items. Do you think it's a niche I can combine into one shop? Um, if it's all laser wood products, yeah.
If people are coming to your shop, seeing your stuff and going, hey, can I get that as a finished product? Sounds like the perfect things to put in your shop
Yeah,
because the
absolutely.
right customers are coming there.
Yeah. Experiment with it. See how it does. If it doesn't do well, you can always split them up later. All right. Jane, seasonal listing tags out date. Can you change these up? Will you need to wait 60 plus days to be optimized? Example, Valentine's to Father's Day gift. So it doesn't take 60 to 90 days to be optimized. That's not an indexing period. That's just how long it can take you to accumulate, a listing quality score for a listing. But since these are products that you already have listed and you're just going to update some of those seasonal keywords, you will maintain your listing quality score. It doesn't go away. You're not starting from zero. And if nobody is searching for Valentine's Day anymore, then it's totally fine to swap those out for Father's Day, because it's unlikely anybody's searching for Valentine's Day. But I would do it sooner rather than later. That way you have a little bit of time to gain some momentum for those terms.
Yeah, well, you want to get rid of the Valentine's Day ones anyway. They're not going to be helping you much just now.
Yeah.
Oh, I think
And
we've
then
got that.
last one. Should I deactivate my Valentine's and St. Patrick's Day printables straight away after the holiday? Will it hurt the listing by having it active and get no views, or should I leave it to expire? So it's not gonna. It's not that it's not gonna. It's not that it's going to hurt it. It's almost like these listings kind of go to sleep when nobody's messing with them. You know, you'll keep a listing quality. It'll keep a little bit of history from any sales that you made during the popular season. It's not just going to wipe the board. But Etsy does notice when listings aren't being interacted with, which is what helps them to kind of rank in search. Either way, nobody's probably going to be buying them until next season. So it would be fine to deactivate them if you just don't want them in your shop, you know, right front and center for customers. That's fine. Or if you want to leave them in your shop, they're probably not going to sell, but that's fine too if they're specific to those holidays. It's really up to you.
Yeah, it won't hurt your shop. It won't hurt any of your other listings. And any other Valentine's Day and St. Patrick's Day listings on Etsy are in the same boat as you. So your competition's also not getting views and sales. So
Yeah.
doesn't hurt you. You never know what people randomly buy, but the only I can't see it would be an issue. The only issue would be if someone comes to your shop and they were looking for something else. They came to your shop and they couldn't find it because you had just so much Valentine's Day stuff that it was hiding the relevant stuff. But generally, no.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think that we
did it.
yeah, it's 5:03. I think we did all right. Thanks so much for watching. Over on my channel tomorrow, because I know I've got a lot of my viewers in the chat right now, we're going to be talking a little bit about Chat GPT just because so many people have begged me to cover it. But I do want to say that we have a great blog article over at eRank about Chat GPT. I know that a lot of people have been asking, like, what is it? Should I be using it? Is it useful? How can I even use it for Etsy? Is it ethical? Does it mean that I'm hiring out, you know, am I letting robots take over my shop? And that's not it at all. So
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow, what we're going to do is show you how you can use it if you want to. And then you can decide for yourself if it's really worth it for you. I know that a lot of people are just kind of nervous about it. So we just want to do like a live demonstration of what it is, how it works. That way you can decide for yourself if it's a tool that you want to use. And if it's not, that's fine too. But if you guys want to read more about it, we just did a great article on it. I went ahead and posted that in the YouTube chat. And then
Debbie
for
got it in Facebook. Yeah.
Oh, did Debbie get it in Facebook?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Debbie. So feel free to check that out if it's something that you were curious about. I know, Pam, you did a video on it on your channel as well, didn't you?
Yep, a few weeks ago I had a play. I made a listing. Well, I made a fake listing from start to finish using AI tools to see what the good and the bad about them was. It's good fun. I'm looking
It
forward
is
to
fun to
your
play with.
video and see what you come up with.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
just don't ask any of the drawing ones to do fingers. They haven't
Oh,
got the
it's
hang of the
scary.
Yep.
All right, guys, thanks so much for hanging out, and we'll see you next week.